Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Morning, everybody. All right, we have a lot to cover again today, and we're starting off with this picture. This was sent to me by one of my subscribers, Anita. This is her cat, Shelba, and she told her no for the very first time because she started chewing on one of the cords to her computer. Look at the cat's face. You can just tell that is a pampered cat. No? Did you say the word no to me? How dare you? I own this house. You know what I mean? Look at the face. Oh my God, that's so cute. All right, let's just jump in and get going, shall we? Let's go. We are starting out this morning talking about the fact that it is Princess Catherine's birthday. Happy birthday, Princess Catherine. Of course, Charles and Camilla put something on Twitter. Of course, Harry and Meghan ignored her. Typical. Anyway, she turned 41 on Monday. It was being said she spent her birthday with William and the children, and people were really singing her praises online. They're talking about her grace. They're talking about her beauty. They're talking about her loyalty and her loyalty to the crown, which she is. She is the epitome of grace and style and what a princess should be, unlike other people. All right, happy birthday, Catherine. Moving on, you guys remember how this friend of Meghan stepped up and said Meghan had her receipts proving racist remarks? And then Gayle King, I already showed you where she went on the morning news and said that she had her evidence. Notice we never saw the evidence, and now Harry is dialing back on it. I think she used her friends and they made fools of themselves. Okay, now we're going to move on to something a little bit bigger. This is very interesting. What he said in the Tom Bradby interview compared to what he said in the 60 Minutes interview is completely different. It's almost like he doesn't think the UK and the United States talk. He told the UK, maybe we'd love to come back and live in a Commonwealth country and do something, like that. But he told the United States audience that they could never go back. Ever. He told the UK that no, they don't believe the royal family is racist. They then told the United States audience, yes, they are. I think Kinsey Schofield said it best. Listen to this.
Well, I can tell you that there were two separate tones that he took with the ITV interview and the CBS interview. He tells ITV that there's not a royal racist and that the British media came up with this myth and error. However, he tells Anderson Cooper on CBS that the reason that the family didn't along with Meghan were some stereotypes. It's that she's an American actress. It's that she's a divorcee and that she's black and biracial. So I'm doing American media here, and they're all saying to me, so the royal family is racist. And I'm trying to explain, well, a few hours ago, he told ITV that there is not a royal racist. So he's got to get his story straight. I think what really upset me, though, is the entire racism narrative that I'm having to deal with again here in America. And I don't know if you remember word for word that interview. Meghan Markle specifically says, because of my child's skin color.
Yeah, I don't know what else that is other than racism.
It does not. Yes, no security, no title. Additionally, they just accepted an award from the Robert Kennedy, charity for fighting systemic racism within the royal family. You are acknowledging that you believe your family is racist.
So there you go. If you allow the press to run with that narrative and you don't come out in over a year and correct it, then obviously you had no problem with it. FYI, I just had to put this up because apparently it's being reported Harry told Anderson Cooper that a partial royal role based overseas was still on the table through the monarchy, even though the Queen had already told them no. I think the man's delusional. Now, I have to say, I do agree with Niall Gardner. Harry comes off as paranoid and unhinged. I think he's had too much California therapy. Now let's move on to the whole thing. Harry said that he was not invited on the plane that was taking the family to see the Queen. We do know that the plane was delayed for 69 minutes, and we're all wondering why. Well, what's coming out according to Lady C is that they were trying to reach Harry. Harry was refusing to answer his phone. They couldn't get a hold of him. And that's when Harry basically said, well, I'm bringing Meghan with me. And he created all these delays. And finally, the family gave up and said, let's go. Can't blame them. You know, the thing that's really killing me about this whole thing is there are two sides to every story, and we're not getting the other side. Now, I've already told you, people are calling him unhinged. He's being mocked all over TV. Writing this book was not a good idea. Sorry. And of course, Harry and Meghan are being urged to hand back that award, the Ripple of Hope Award. They're not going to, of course. Now, Piers Morgan is all over this because let's not forget that Piers lost his job because he didn't believe Meghan's claims of racism and all this other stuff. And he's coming out now going, okay, so now they're claiming it didn't happen. Do I get my job back? Can you undo is Sharon Osbourne going to get her job back? You guys know what I'm talking about. You should know that 60 Minutes, Good Morning America, and ITV all reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment, and the Buckingham Palace lawyers asked to see the transcript of what was said, and nobody would provide them. Well, how can you comment on something when you don't know what the questions were and what was said? I don't blame the palace for keeping their silence. And in keeping that silence is golden, the king is going to come through this very well, and Harry is tarnished forever. It's true. The more Harry talks, the more shows he goes on, the more he goes down in people's opinions, I'm telling you. Now, here's a perfect example. Here is a list of the interviews that Harry's going around doing in order to promote his book. One of them is Stephen Colbert. Now, when Stephen Colbert told the audience that Harry was going to be a guest, the audience did not react well. He then made fun of the book, talking about you could also read it on the commemorative book plate. Everybody busted out laughing. Then he brought up what Harry said about how his brother wanted nothing to do with him in high school, and he was like, made a joke about that too. That's from the Big Brother handbook. Of course, siblings don't want to interact in high school. And then made a joke that they were put into the same house by the Hogwarts sorting hat. I don't think it's going to go well for him. I'm telling you. You know, everybody is making a joke of him. And even Omid Scobie was on TV in the morning in the UK, basically he was trying to defend their actions, but couldn't. And in the end, he even said they need to move on. Now, what does that tell you that Omid Scobie said that? But to be fair, he also said, and I quote, "I am not a friend, only met them briefly as a reporter." You know, other royal families are making their feelings known. This picture was put up by Crown Prince Marie Chantal of Greece on her Instagram page. Prince William is godfather to the Crown Princess's son. You know, this picture speaks volumes. Even the Cut magazine that had written horrible stories about Catherine, Princess Catherine, and that wrote that whole piece for Meghan with the photo shoot with the hundreds of thousands of dollars in couture, even that magazine has turned and is not happy with Harry and is making fun of him. You know, Harry did admit that they didn't do things correctly, again, during the ITV trailer. But here's the interesting thing. They're reporting that everybody's lining up to get the book and it's so great. Well, according to Richard Palmer at the Waterstones store, you see all the photographers standing around. Guess how many people were in line to buy the book? One. This person that you see right there is the only person who went to the store to buy the book when it came up for sale. My people, that is saying something. This was on Twitter. This is somebody was in the local Tesco, and somebody said, "How many of these have you sold?" And they said, "None." In my opinion, if the book is listed as a bestseller at this point, it's only due to pre-sales. Seriously. Now let's talk about a little hypocrisy. Supposedly, in the book, Prince Harry has the texting trail between Meghan and Kate over the bridesmaid dresses. Remember, not that long ago, Meghan sued the Mail on Sunday for breach of her privacy, but apparently she's going to claim she had nothing to do with this. This was all Harry. Here's the problem with that. Meghan said in court, we just caught her in another lie, that her messages automatically deleted. I think it was after like 2 or 3 months. If that's the case, where did they get those from? More inconsistencies. Harry put this whole thing in. This came from Instagram by somebody who asked not to be identified. Harry talking about the Xbox, playing on the Xbox. I'm not saying he didn't play on a game console, but it wasn't an Xbox. That's a lie. Now, another piece of information just came to my attention, and this is by this particular TikToker. Here's her name. She put up a TikTok video, I guess it would be classified as, and what she had to say will make your room spin. Go subscribe to her. This young lady is a parenting coach who says that she works with parents during the birth and sometimes weeks after the birth. And she says, I have clients that want to give birth there, and I tell them, no, it's a terrible hospital. You can give birth in the Kensington wing at the Chelsea or, Westminster or any of those, but not Portland. And she doesn't work with people, by the way, who insist on Portland. Her main point is there's no emergency department at that hospital. So if something happens to you or your baby, there's no crash team, and they have to ship you off to another hospital. So she said when Meghan was talking about we couldn't take the photo because it would block the emergency department, she said there is no emergency department. It's a flat lie. Meghan Markle also said that her doctor worked out of Portland. This lady is saying that is also a flat lie. The doctors are all private. They'll go to whichever hospital you want to deliver in, and you pay for the room and the labor and, whatever else you need. So for her to say that, and you pay your doctor, so the doctor doesn't specifically work out of one hospital or another. They'll go anywhere. She said the only reason people go to Portland Hospital is they want clout. She said, which is why she doesn't work with clients who specifically want to go there. So she says she's not sure why she did, but she says Meghan Markle absolutely lied. Wow is all I can say. All right, moving on. Stories are now coming out that Harry, he was using drugs while he was at Tyler Perry's house as a guest. I wonder what Tyler Perry thinks about that. That's no different than him admitting that he was at Courtney Cox's house getting his magic mushrooms. This is why the A-listers don't want anything to do with this couple. No, in a show of utter hypocrisy. We all remember what happened with Jeremy Clarkson, and Harry and Meghan did not accept his apology. Did you guys know that Harry said this in his book? He talks in chapter 34 about Rebekah Brooks, and this is what he says about her. He called her a loathsome toad. He then said she was an infected pustule on the rear end of humanity. He also said she was an SHIT excuse for a journalist. And remember, this book and these words stand for all time. I wonder how she feels about that. Makes Harry sound like a bully, doesn't it? I mean, we already know how he treated people at school, and now there's some passages in there about how they treated the staff. He calls it constructive criticism, but when you have staff members throwing themselves over their desk crying, that's not constructive criticism. Now, I've told you guys before that Meghan wears Diana's perfume and she wears Diana's outfits, and, she tried to make Harry think that she could channel Diana. She's so much like Diana. Then this story came out about this steamy reunion that occurred at the Soho House in 2016. Meghan grabbed Harry into the room. They slammed the door. There was no time to put up the do not disturb sign. But what made this creepy was this happened on the anniversary of Princess Diana's death. Oh, I wonder if he thought she was channeling Diana then on that night. Ew. And finally, in a show of karma that maybe God has even had enough of them, the entire town of Montecito, California, where they live, is being evacuated exactly 5 years after a mudslide killed 20 people. Yes, they're in danger of another mudslide, and they have to leave everything behind. Maybe Tyler Perry will let them back into his house, high up on that hill. Not if he's smart. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell. Don't forget to go up into the description box, and you'll find the links for my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon. Don't forget, monies that are donated through the Coffee Fund are going towards the fundraiser that we're doing for the month of January, and money put through the thanks button comes to me. And as always, you guys, have a great day.